All right, this last piece is under identifying conic sections. Okay, so very last flap there. I encourage you to hit pause and see if you can identify all of those conic sections, like which ones are circles, which ones are ellipses, hyperbolas, and parabolas. Spoiler alert, there are 2 of each. Okay, also, second spoiler alert, these are the 2 that are circles. And what we're going to do is we're going to do something called completing the square. If you were in advanced algebra 2, which you should have been, you would have learned how to complete the square with quadratics. The only difference now is that we have 2 different things, okay? All right, so step 1 when completing the square. Here's our goal. Our goal is to get it to look like that. Because as is, I do not know what the center is. I do not know what the radius is. I do not know how to graph that. But if I can make it look like one of the problems that we've been doing, then I know those things. Okay, so step 1, group x's. So my x squared and my 16x, I'm going to group together. I will end up adding something to it to make it factorable. I'm going to group my y's together, so y squared minus 2y. Also going to add something to that to make it factorable. And then I'm going to put the constant on the other side, and however many blanks I added to the left, so in this case 2, I need to add to the right. I was just kind of out of space, so bear with me there. So what I need to add is always B, thinking about this as A, B, C. I'm going to do B over 2 squared. So in this one, it's going to be 16 divided by 2 squared. Think about those balancing scales from science. What I add to the left, I must also add to the right. And then this time for the y's, this is my b now. So I'm going to add negative 2 over 2 squared to both sides. Eventually, hopefully, you will complete the square enough that you may not have to write it out that simplistic, okay? So that's going to give me 8 squared, which is 64. There should be a plus sign here. I was missing it up there. And this should be plus 1. And then on this side, I have negative 38 plus 64 plus 1. Okay. All right, so then we look, we're going to break them into pieces. Here's my x piece. And here's my y piece. If I added b over 2 squared correctly, those should factor real nicely. Okay. So what multiplies to get 64, but adds to get 16? Should be the same number twice. 8 times 8. So remember, I would write that as x plus 8 times x plus 8, but I don't need to. Okay, and then same idea here. What multiplies to get positive 1, but adds to get negative 1? Well, that's negative 1 times negative 1, or negative 1 plus negative 1. Okay, and my very last step is to add negative 38 plus 64 plus 1, which is 27. Now it is in the standard form that I want. If I needed to know the center, I could tell you it's negative 8, 1. If I needed to tell you the radius, I could tell you that it's the square root of 27. So we like to complete the square to make life easier. Okay, so try 34, see how far you can get on your own. And when you get stuck, hit next, and you will see all the steps listed on the next slide. But again, try to do as much of it as you can on your own and see where you get stuck.